on, Rob.
Sweet. Okay. This is Umar for BoxNation. I'm joined by Billy Joe Saunders. It's been a long while, Billy, and a long while since you've been on BoxNation. How are you?
Listen, mate, I was there when it all started, wasn't I? All good, mate. All good, mate. And how's you?
I'm all good, thanks, Bill. I know you're up to Cardiff this week for your man, Louis Edmondson, one of the main guys at 365 Management. So let's touch upon that. You've launched this company, a management company. It's been around for a while now, Bill, but you haven't really spoke too much about it. Just tell me about 365.
Oh, it's just something that, we're doing. We've got a couple of good people behind it and backing it. It's just obviously at the moment with, all these big promoters working together. You've got Frank, you've got Eddie Hearn, and everyone, out in Saudi at the minute. I think that people's more or less forgetting about the sort of boxing back home in the UK. I know Frank's been putting plenty on. We just put obviously 2 fighters with Frank. Just really enjoying and exploring, really. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just nice to try to make a world champion out of someone and try to give them a nice life in a way. You've
got Keno White, haven't you?
Keno White, yep. Tom, my man Tom, he's worked hard with the boys and Frank and Andy Alien and Queensbury to get the contract going for both men, which is happening. Louis Edmondson now, obviously, we're on a boxer show. We did he verbally agreed and stuck to his verbal agreement, Ben. So we got him fighting Joel McIntyre in Cardiff, which is going to be a good fight. And we're trying to negotiate with a potential title fight for Louis Edmondson next.
All right. Is that Ben Whittaker fight still of interest to you guys or not?
Look, I can understand that. Obviously, Sky and everyone behind Sky has, behind the scene, there was, clearly interested in making the fight. It was put to Whittaker, and he refused. But look, at the end of the day, do I blame him? Probably not, because, the style that Louis Edmondson brings has beat him previously in the amateurs. I can name a few. So it's sort of a catch 500 for him, really. Does he really want that sort of fight at this stage of his career? Probably not. Look, we want the chance because I know how good Louis is. I sparred him myself. I've also seen him spar other, I'm not going to say elite sparring partners, but he has mixed up there with some absolute, toppers, and he hasn't come out beaten up. So, you can't go much off sparring. And I think myself personally, he's got the ability to sell out a York Hall sort of now.
Billy, what would your pitch then be to, obviously you're going to be selective in who you take at 365, but you've worked with Frank, you've worked with Eddie, you've been to the top of the sport. What would your pitch be to fighters to bring them to 365 Management?
Well, look, obviously we work with obviously trying to find sponsorships, it's very hard for these young fighters now to maintain a professional career. And trust me, I've been there, regardless how busy they're kept, to maintain a full job in boxing. And my fighters, I want to have a full-time boxing, like not part-time work. So we work on, little sponsors around them. Also, obviously, you see what we do with the 2 fighters we signed with Frank. I think, to be honest with you, I really, 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 and a lot of people has been raving on to me about how he's looking. And, there's a lot of interest, obviously, in him, and he's under no better man than Frank Warren to bring someone through. Keno White, we've had him sparring the McCormacks. Look, I've got a lot of keys to world-class sparring. I could bring Ben Davison up tomorrow and, bring him down for sparring. I've got a good working relationship with a lot of the trainers in the game. It's just about getting them that experience and getting used to the professional game and not getting too carried away. I've been there and done it myself, and I can talk a load of rubbish on the phone, and but actually doing something, most of the time now, most of these people promise them the world and don't really deliver anything. But one thing you've got to be in the game is a little bit patient, and the boys we're working with has had the patience of a saint with us, and we're just now getting the ball rolling with the company and you'll see this coming year now what we're trying to finish off and what we're trying to achieve.
Okay. You touched upon a couple of times in this interview about Frank and Eddie working together. Obviously, His Excellency's made that happen. Did you ever think the day would come? You've been on both sides, Bill, with Frank and Eddie.
Yeah, look, to be fair, that, you know, in interviews and past interviews, you see me run them down and, you know, have a little bit of a moan up here and there, but you learn that of experience. But both, listen, at the end of the day, I've earned a lot of money with Frank Warren. I've earned a lot of money with Eddie Hearn. You know, they both really can deliver now, especially with his Excellency behind them. I reckon myself that, you know, the world is both their oysters because the stable they've got, you know, they're both stables that both of them have, as obviously I reckon is probably the biggest in the world. And it's a very, very powerful force to be stopped. And I think that they could take over the game.
As you said, you earned a lot of money in your career, Bill, especially, you know, that Canelo fight, that mega fight you had towards the back end of your career. But are you looking at this Saudi scene where, you know, the purses are incredible and kind of thinking you wish you were involved or not?
Well, people always, when big purses and big money's involved in anything, people always wants to be involved. Obviously, with myself, there's a big fight with Eubank there. That's one I could easily just come out of retirement and go, oh, tomorrow, yeah, I'm back in training, I'm going to fight him. And regardless whether he likes me or I like him, you know, we're probably both not going to refuse that sort of business. You know, look, when would we see unified heavyweight, you know, Tyson Fury, Usyk, Tyson Fury and AJ now? That is the fight that is going to happen. And people can now start believing in that fight now because, you know, the money's not an issue. The promotional side is not an issue. Before it was more about, oh, we can't find that, it's got to be on that TV channel and he's got the right to this. But all of that now is the argument point of all of that is put to bed. So we're going to see the biggest fights out there. It's sort of a treat, really, but in a minute or two, these boxing fans are going to run out of big fights to see. So they're going to have to start building newcomers coming through and showcasing their skills and, you know, getting your man over there to look at them and go, do you know what, I like him and let's make him and him. And it's sort of like a conveyor belt. We can keep it going and the big fights are there for the fans. And that's the main thing at the end of the day. Look, the fans are obviously with His Excellency as well. The fans are there as well, paying their money to watch this. They're playing their part. So I'm happy for the fans. They're getting the chance to, you know, even myself as a fan now, watching these big fights happen and unfold.
We talk about the new ones coming through, and Mark Chamberlain was, of course, invited to Saudi Arabia. His Excellency loves him, and I know you were doing a bit of work with Mark. Is that correct?
I was doing a little bit of Mark. Mark's a great kid, very, very strong fighter. Got a good head on his shoulders. He's under a good wing with Frank Warren, and I think he can go all the way. He's a brilliant talent. His dad's a lovely man. I've met him, spent a little bit of time with him in the gym when I had a little bit of free time. You know, I think myself personally, there's Frank's also got another fighter under his stable.
Sam Noakes.
Yeah, he's another good fight. He took his first distance fight the other night. He went 12 rounds, I think he did. Yeah, I watched him. I think that fight, them two fighting together is definitely, it's like petrol and a fire because they both can punch like no tomorrow. And listen, whoever wins that fight is going to be by knockout, in my opinion.
So, Bill, you know, a few months ago, we heard Eddie talking about potentially bringing you back. So what happened with that comeback? Because I've heard nothing really since.
Umar, do you know what? With someone like myself, I need, and you see all these big fighters, you need and look, I can understand that Eddie Hearn is very busy. He's very, you know, he's here, there, he's everywhere. So he probably, you know, he's at the back of the pole. But I need a plan and structure put in place for me to follow. I was in training before Christmas, just started back doing a little bit again. But unless someone's got a plan for me to follow and go, right, well, this is our stop-off goal, you fight on that date, and then, you know, it's very hard for me to get in gear, and I've always been the same. And look, with me, it's a bit of I want to go back and I really want to get back in there and fight. But it's very, very hard when you're in your comforts, isn't it? So unless I'm took out of my comforts and I've got a plan put in front of me, then obviously we can talk business. And that ain't only with Eddie now because I'm a free agent. I can go with who I like.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know you were a free agent. I thought you had one fight left, so that's good you clarified that. Aside from Chris Eubank Jr., I mean, who is there? The Edgar Berlanga fight. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, he's not. I see a lot of these fighters now on the way, and you just look at them and think, do you know what? They're all right, and, but they're all fighting bums, aren't they? Berlanga, yes, I would like to get in and just slap him around, and I don't see where he can think he's going to be world champion, because there's a lot bigger and better fighters out there than him that hasn't achieved being world champion. But look,
it looks like he might get the Canelo fight. What do you think about that in September?
Yeah, look, I think it's a great move for Canelo. Of course, I think it's a good move. Look, as long as Canelo gets all these different opponents thrown at him, he ain't got to jump in there and fight Benavidez. And I think that Benavidez is a cookie that most of these fighters in this weight division want to keep away, because he's young, he's hungry, he's fresh, he can fight, he's big, he's strong, he can box, he can fight. So I don't really blame Canelo for what he's done in the sport of boxing to say, do you know what? It's a little bit too late in my career now for a young and up-and-coming fighter like him. It was sort of like, I don't know, Canelo versus Cotto at the time. It's the same, similar sort of scenario now, and you've got to be clever enough when you're in a position like that, when to say yes and when to say no. So, yeah.
I spoke to Umar Williams recently. He told me that we were speaking about you, and he said that you've achieved nothing in your career. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't even want to give him any airtime, because, a man who walks around with a rat's tail at the back of him, he don't even deserve a conversation. And to be, how old is he?
He's young 20s or mid-20s.
Young 20s or mid-20s. He's walking up and down with a rucksack on his back with a rat tail. He needs a good slap up the lips for being so stupid. But I'll tell you what, let Ammo achieve half of what I'll tell you what, just let Ammo go out there and, get a world title shot, then come back and talk to me and say, them silly comments.
What do you think happens with him and Hamza Shiraz?
I think Hamza absolutely destroys him. He's just gonna basically. It's up to. Realistically, I think myself, if it goes 5 or 6 rounds, he'll be very, very lucky.
Bill,
I know that my man Amir Khan is doing a bit of him now. Killer have had closely working alongside me in world title fights and game plans, and he's very, very, very. His knowledge is, second to none. He's been around the great Brendan Ingle all of his life and been guided by him.
Yeah.
Obviously, in there sparring around the likes of Naz, Johnny Nelson. You can't buy that sort of experience. So, for him to have him in his camp is a very, very good move.
Billy, if you were to make this comeback, I'm guessing it'd be at light heavy, or would you do super middle still?
No, listen, I could get to super middle. Yeah, I could get to super middle, but I wouldn't come back at super middle. I think, look, a plan needs to be in place of, look, everyone knows it's going to be me and Eubank. Eubank knows that he's going to end up fighting me. I know if I come back, I'm going to end up fighting him. So you need a sensible promoter in the middle of the two to go, look, boys, we're going to, do a little roadway here. You're going to cross paths. You're going to fight 2 fights. You're going to fight 2 fights. And you're going to meet and we'll settle the differences in the ring rather than on Instagram and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? On in fucking interviews.
Billy, I'm just surprised. Well, I might be wrong, but I'd have thought every promoter near enough in the country would be reaching out to you to set a plan out. Is that happening?
Look, all of these promoters at the minute are very, very, very busy. You got the likes of Eddie Hearn. Chantel Cameron's has been released. A few people are saying, "Oh, he ain't getting back to me. He ain't doing this. He ain't doing that." A few's getting released now, and I think that. Look, now I'm a free agent. I can just have a chat. People didn't know I'm a free agent, but now I am. So, look, if a promoter wants to get in touch, which I know they will. I've had conversations with Netflix. Also myself, they've reached out. So it's interesting times at the minute. So we'll see what's going on at the minute. So I've got something planned to sort of broach what I'm going to go down. And that obviously gets me the sort of the sort of incentive I need to get back in the gym and, to work alongside these young, hungry fighters, because, it's no good having a full belly in this game, because, it won't work out. But it's also to be good, to be in the mix of big names. Mm. And that's got to be, look, when you come out of the sort of fight, Canelo Alvarez, and you're coming back down and people's, talk relatively stupid to you sometimes, you think, you know what? I've not been stupid with my money. I've been sensible with my money. You don't really need their business. Of course I want it. I love it. It's big money. You're stupid not to, but, I'm not in a position where I've got my pot out and on my hands and knees begging. So we'll see where we go with it.
I know you said you can make super middle, but if there were big fights, I'm not saying there's been talks of this or anything, but it's just popped into my mind. Anthony Yarde at 175, something like that.
Yeah, look. First of all, obviously, before you talk about big fights, you've got to get the ball rolling. For the likes of, look at Tyson Fury. He come back Manchester, very heavy, got the ball rolling again. Now he's unstoppable. So you've got to build some, but you've got to have a promoter willing to put that time and effort, and a team around you to put that time and effort to get you there, as well as myself as commitment. So it's not just a case of, I'm going to pack my bags, I'm going to see you all later, and I'm going to fight in 10, 12 weeks, and, you've got to have the right team around you.
Well, Frank and George Warren did it with Tyson, so why can't they do it with you?
No, look, I will say, me and Frank has always maintained a very good working relationship. There's been times, obviously, when, I wanted to get someone out, they're out. Even when I don't really ring around, if I need anything, I'll arrange a meeting with Frank. Frank can have a meeting. I've got a couple of kids. He's always been there, and to be honest with you, I can't really forget him for it, because, the good. But look, again, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I've been with him. So it works both ways, and he's got the respect to understand that, and give me the same respect as I'll give him.
Lastly, not long to go now, 10 days, Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. If you had your last pound on it, what happens?
Tyson Fury all day long.
By stoppage?
Look, you're fighting for unified heavyweight titles, so it's easy for someone to say, oh yeah, Tyson's the bigger man, he's going to stop him. I think if Tyson goes in there and boxes with intelligence and boxes with his brain, then, look, if Tyson goes in the middle of that ring, kids and feints, 1-2, double jab, how's Usyk going to get around that? If Tyson Fury's got the fishing rod in his face, how's he going to get around that? What, is he going to try and bully Tyson? Come forward and bully him? Because we know that people tried that before. Is his power going to bother Tyson? Not really. We've seen him in the ring with Deontay Wilder, push him back, smash him up and stop him. But the thing is with Usyk, he can box very, very brilliantly on the back foot, and just don't want to see Tyson, overreaching and missing and getting caught with little counters, then letting frustration kick in and a little bit of losing his rag kick in. You can't go swimming without getting wet. So, of course, I reckon, as long as the fight goes 6 rounds, Tyson might lose 1 or 2 rounds. Yeah. But he's experienced enough, and he's got an experienced team around him. But right, calm down, no problem. Let's forget about that. Let's start again. You've got to be switched on for 36 minutes like no tomorrow with Usyk, because as soon as you start overreaching and he draws you forward, it's going to be a very, very hard night. Very hard night. You're not just going to run at Usyk, walk him down, rough him up and beat him up. It's not going to work. That game plan is definitely not going to work with someone like him. Not a southpaw.
Just one more thing, just listening to you now, you're obviously a very natural talker, you're knowledgeable on the sport, you know it inside out. Would you, whether it's for DAZN, Sky, TNT, whoever, would you be interested in doing some punditry work or commentary, stuff like that?
Do you know what, Umar? I get asked a lot, to be fair. I do get asked a lot to do it. But I think that, look, you have to have a full-time sort of commitment of something like that. I'll be interested, obviously, in talking about boxing and being around the game. I love it. I do like it. But, it's a lot of commitment. I'd rather put the commitment in myself and train and have a fight, if I'm honest.
Well, whether it's on Netflix or whatever station you come back on, hopefully we do see you back in the ring, Billy. Appreciate your time. Anything else you want to add about, Louis or 365 before we close off?
No, not too much. Just tune in, watch Louis Edmondson fight next week. He's in a big one. Any light heavyweight out there wants it. get in contact and we will make the fight happen. And the other lads, you just watch there. Listen, they'll be all talking for themselves. Now, I believe that out of the three, 100%, I've got a world champion already out of the three with the talent what they all got. It's just the one who wants to commit and listen and wants to go the furthest. Will make it.
Okay, all good. How's your dad? How are the kids, Bill?
Thank you very much. Everyone's doing fine. We're all alive. We're all kicking. We're all breathing. And we're all winning. So that's the main thing. We can't ask for much more, Umar, can we? We've got the sun out. We've got the guns out. Do you know what I mean? Look, at the end of the day, I'm probably about 15, 8 at the minute, solid as a rock. Me and you, when I see you, we're going to have to get it on, and we'll make the fight happening. We'll get Turkey out there, and we'll have negotiate. We'll get going, and we'll get you on the road. All
right, Billy. God bless you. Thank you very much for your time on BoxNation, and a big shout out to Tom Watts as well. Tom Watts is doing a great job with you as well.
Listen, to be honest with you, he's the brains. He's the brains.
Take care, Bill. Speak soon.
God bless you, mate. Bye-bye.